ba 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 banana. Ba 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 banana. Oh, ba 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 banana. Potato, ba ba banana. Ba ba banana. Tocali no potato, lica ni maloma ni canotica. Ba 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 banana.
Hi boys and girls, hope you're all well and you had another lovely week. Now, if you remember last week, we said we're going to start thinking about things that you can do with your hands. Okay, and last week it was to build something, do you remember? And we did our story of Noah who used his hands to build an ark. So this week we're going to think of something else that we can do with our hands, but before we do that, we have to find out what song we're going to sing this week, and it's Ollie's turn. So let's see what song Ollie's going to choose for us. Okay, boys and girls, so Ollie's going to choose between Father Abraham or I'm going to jump up and down. Are you ready, Ollie, to make your choice? Let's see which one Ollie chooses. Oh, he's going for Father Abraham. Let's get ready to sing and dance.
Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot. Nod your head, turn around. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot. Nod your head, turn around, jump up and down. Clap your hands, drop your feet, say amen, 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 jump up and down. Clap your hands, drop your feet, say amen. Now sit down.
Okay, boys and girls, I am sure as always there was some lovely singing and dancing going on there. Well done. Now, as I said before, this week we're going to be looking again at something else we can do with our hands. So last week we talked about what you could build with your hands, and we talked about maybe building something out of Lego, or maybe building something out of things around the house, or maybe we built a tent or a teepee or something. So this week we're going to think about what we can use our hands to bake something. I am sure that lots of you have baked things before. Maybe you've baked some fairy cakes, or maybe you've baked a cake or some yummy buns, okay? Or maybe you've baked some bread. And this week's story is to do with some bread. Okay, so we're going to get ready for story. So make sure you're sitting nice and comfy, and we'll get ready for story. This story is about a miracle. Jesus had 12 disciples and he sent them out and gave them the power to heal sick people and tell others about God's love. When the disciples returned, they met with Jesus to tell him all about the people they'd talked with and had healed. They were all so excited to tell Jesus about their adventures. The problem was, people followed the disciples so they could find Jesus too. They had seen the miracles he had done and wanted to see more. But Jesus knew the disciples wanted to talk to him. They hadn't even had a chance to eat yet. So he said to them, "Come with me and we will find a quiet place to talk and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a quiet place. But many people saw them leaving and recognized them and ran after them on land. The boat Jesus and the disciples were in slowed down because of wind, so the people actually got to the other side of the shore before them. When Jesus and the disciples arrived, they noticed the large crowd. Jesus felt love for these people because he knew they needed a teacher and someone to believe in. He knew that the disciples would understand. So he began teaching the large crowd many things. It was starting to get late in the day and none of the people had had supper yet. The disciples came to Jesus and said, "There's no food around here and it's already getting late. Maybe we should send the people away so they can go to surrounding towns and get themselves something to eat." But Jesus replied, "You give them something to eat." The disciples didn't think they understood Jesus right and said, "We can't feed all these people. We would have to work almost a year to pay for all the food." When the disciples were talking to Jesus, one of the disciples called Andrew noticed a small boy walking by with a small lunch. He stopped the boy and asked him what he had. He quickly ran over to where the disciples were talking to Jesus and said, "Here is a boy with 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many people?" Jesus smiled and said, "Ask everyone to sit down." There was lots of grass to sit on, so everyone was seated, all 5,000 of them. After everyone was seated, Jesus took the loaves of bread and thanked God for it. Then the disciples passed around the bread and everyone could take as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. Remember, these were 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish, which was only enough for one boy to eat. There were 5,000 people all eating from this boy's small lunch, and they could eat as much as they wanted. There are probably more than 5,000 people at your school. It's a lot of people. After everyone was full, Jesus asked the disciples to gather all the food that was left over so nothing would be wasted. After they gathered all the baskets of food, they counted them up. There were 12 baskets still full with some bread and fish from the little boy's small lunch. His small lunch probably barely filled one of the baskets before Jesus touched it, and that is a miracle. After all the people realised what had happened, they said to each other, "This must be an important person sent from God." Okay, boys and girls, it's time to get ready for craft. And this week, instead of doing our normal craft, I thought it would be lovely if you would like to bake something at home. Okay, you can bake anything you want. Take a photograph of it and send it into the church email and we'll put it on next week's video, okay? So let me know what you baked, okay? But maybe you don't like baking and that's okay. So we've also got another craft to do with our hands as well, okay? Okay, boys and girls, so for this craft, you can either paint your hand like you did last week and splat it down on a piece of paper, or if you don't have any paint, you can draw around your hand. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw around my hand and then cut it out. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, so I have coloured in my hand that's going to be a fish. I don't know if you can see that, but I've coloured it in orange. So now I'm going to stick it down. So I'm going to get some glue and I'm going to stick it down to another page. Just make sure you can see it. And stick it down to another page, okay? And we're going to stick it this way around. I'm going to show you, okay? We're going to stick it this way round, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to get a black pen or pencil and we'll have to give him an eye, don't we? So we're going to give him an eye and a mouth. And there we go. There's our fish hand. Now, can you remember what else was in the story as well? Can you remember? There was fish and what else was there? There was bread, wasn't there? So we're going to draw some bread slices. Okay, so I'm just drawing some simple bread slices and then I'm going to colour it in. Now you might do white bread or you might do brown bread. Okay, so I'm going to do a white bread and there we go. There is our fish and our bread from our story. Well done, boys and girls. Great work today. Fabulous. Okay, boys and girls, it's prayer time now, and this week we're going to give thanks to God for all the yummy food that we get to eat, whether we make it or bake it ourselves, or whether we get it in from a shop. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes and we're going to bow our heads and we're going to say thank you to God for all the yummy food and drink that we get to eat. So, dear God, thank you for another week where we've had lots of sunshine this week, Lord, and we give thanks for that. And God, we just want to say thank you for all the yummy food that we get to eat, whether we have made it ourselves or made it with mummies or daddies or grannies or brothers or sisters or whoever, or God, maybe we bought it in from a shop. We just want to say thank you for giving us all that yummy food. Amen. Well done, boys and girls. That's it for another week. So I hope you all have a lovely week and I will see you all next week. Bye.